Hello, everybody. There weren't really any big PC news anytime around, so I thought we can talk about what's happening in the anime industry and about a really bad take about piracy, because I can tie that back into the games industry really easy, as I feel like we're the kings of the pirates and have gone through similar talks years and years before. Well then, there have been some issues with recent Western anime localizations because they were inserting their own sayings and memes and stuff far too much and cutting out some of the Japanese content to a point where 30 Japanese anime studios decided to offer 3,000 free titles in new Anime Log YouTube channel, currently only in Japanese, but they want to add subtitles. This is to stop the West from butchering their work. And while that was happening, some subscription services for anime seem to have lost a lot of money, and that prompted a lot of voice actors to start talking about piracy. Yeah, that one. Today we are talking about Alex Moore, because she is the one that posted this take, and this is the take that we're gonna be talking about, and I have game-related sources discuss this in, so don't worry, you don't actually need to know anything about anime outside of what I just told you. If you're pirating anime, please stop. Your excuses are invalid. Please learn the concept of then you don't get to have it. You're not entitled to consume it merely because it exists and is out of your reach. That's some colonizer bullshit. And she compiled a list of excuses. It's not available in my country. How am I supposed to watch it? You're not supposed to watch it. It's specifically not available to you. Oh, well, that's some major gatekeeping right there. Meanwhile, Minecraft library is making censored journalism accessible all over the world. Published at March 18th, Minecraft has established itself as a cultural phenomenon for many reasons. It's creative, collaborative, and sufficiently facile as to be considered accessible to almost anybody. In isolation, these benefits seem relatively intriguing. In tandem, however, they are from the perfect vehicle for Reporters Without Borders Uncensored Library, a virtual hub housing a collection of otherwise inaccessible journalism from all over the world, with specific sections devoted to Russia, Egypt, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam. The thing about the internet is we don't all have the exact same access to the exact same internet. What we can see from pop culture, what we can see from games, it is fairly limited to what we're allowed to see. From Lithuania, I couldn't even access Netflix, for example. And it's not very fair, because you get to miss out on a lot of culture, and you get to miss out on a lot of things that maybe would have changed the way that you perceive the world. I fully support people torrenting other cultural shit in order to understand what it is really. I fully support understanding the world from more than one point of view, because it truly helps. If I want news, I can look at English news and I can look at Lithuanian news because I know those two languages. If I knew Russian, Russia would be presenting a completely different picture than what Lithuania tends to present. And so is Poland. When in England we were talking about what was happening in America with Black Lives Matter, Lithuania didn't know anything about it because it wasn't that current for them. While when we're talking about what is happening in Belarus, Lithuania knows a lot more and is reporting a lot more on it because Belarus is closer to them. It's the same with cultures, it's the same with what is popular and what is acceptable. The more point of view that we expose ourselves to, the easiest it is to understand other people. or at the very least understand the angle that they're coming from. I'm exposing myself to a lot of Western media, but I'm also exposing myself to a lot of Lithuanian media. I rarely see Americans do that in reverse. Therefore, from their narrow point of view, most of the time I am completely wrong and it's inexcusable. This wouldn't be the case if they had more than one access to more than one point of view, really. So when you're like, you're not supposed to watch it, it's specifically not available to you. If they can't purchase it in the country, it's not like it's money lost. They didn't have access to it. Except that now, they understand the Western culture a bit better, or in this case, specifically probably the Japanese culture. Who got hurt in the process? Because I'm not seeing the Japanese studios cry about it, I'm seeing you cry about it. It's an old title. I bet there's a VHS copy on eBay somewhere, or it's lost to you. The impermanence of media. That is not a good thing. Like, we tried so hard to preserve video games because we truly consider them an art form, and you're like, just let the anime fade. Just let it disappear. Because that's what's good. I remember Let's Playing Princess Maker 2 on my channel. I was Let's Playing pirated copy because at that point, you couldn't get it legally. You couldn't. And I loved the game. And now you can. Now it's on Steam. A lot of games that you couldn't get in early 2000s, like for example the first Deus Ex, you can because of the outcry about it. Because of people asking for these old games, like, look, I don't care if you're not gonna make your art fit a different format. Like, if it's on a VHS and it's in like 4:3 resolution or whatever, burn it and post it for people to be able to access it, because it's better than no access at all. It's the same as with video games. If you're gonna tell me it's incompatible with Windows 10, but you're gonna let me try, I at the very least can try. If I have absolutely no access to the game, it's a lot harder. It's one of my peeves with The Sims. This is a amazon.co.uk page. The Sims Complete Collection, one user is selling it used for £22. It's not the fact that it's expensive to get it, it's the fact that you will rarely ever find it existing. And then I'm not too sure how many people even still have a computer with a working CD drive. That's the issue with it. It's good when one of the good uses of piracy is preserving media. Like, there should be dedicated libraries to just preserving media that's just disappearing, because this was such a big, prominent part of our lives. And to just go, well, it's supposed to be gone. Who are people harming it by preserving it? I mean, if the company wants to do a full re-release of that series, or of that anime or whatever, a remake will be pretty much accepted with applause, and just a resale of the old thing burned into the new media, just it being available, will also be accepted with applause. Do you think people like pirating because things are just not available? No, they're not. A lot of people are all for preserving this old media because it matters to us. It matters to us, and you're like, just let it disappear. Sorry. It would be the same as if a gallery burned down, but we had fake copies of the paintings and people were enjoying it, and you were like, it's bad because it's the black market. Well, sorry, honey, it's the only picture of the picture remaining. I don't care if it's the black market at that point. I just care that the art wasn't completely gone. That's my attitude. My parents won't pay for it, so then you pay for it. Again, a subscription is less than $10 a month. I have a feeling that I talked about this when it came to Pokemon's... Oh, no. Invader V's. There we go. We have to make sure to use the right girls' names and not attribute bad things to the wrong person. When I was talking about Invader V saying, oh, subscription to me is just $5 or whatever. $1 is not equal $1 around the world. Monthly minimum wage in Russia as of January amounted to approximately $196. Yeah, it's like 5% of your, monthly stuff when you have to buy food and everything. It becomes really, really expensive, and it's just not a priority at all, which is why we tend to have regional pricing, because people can legitimately not afford these things. And once again, you're saying it's only $10 in the middle of economic depression that when I last checked, US took 40% of their jobs. I think people are trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. I don't think that now is the time to think about that poor kid that's using the last of his internet to watch a new episode of Naruto or something. That was the complete wrong pronunciation of that. I'm so sorry. I couldn't even figure out an anime on the go. Subscriptions are expensive. No, they're not. That just ties into the point above. Depends where you are. An anime is a luxury. You do not require it to survive, and it's not inhumane to deny access to it. You can also watch some for free with ads. I think that you can also watch some for free with ads if it's legitimately available in your region. Once again, if some kid somewhere literally cannot afford to get your product, but is consuming it illegally, it doesn't harm you because it doesn't remove the product. All it does is it might instill a sense of brand loyalty into them and make them want to give you that money back when they turn into adults and can afford to do so. A lot of people feel bad about consuming media illegally. It's not like they're sitting there rejoicing about it, and they tend to take note of the media that they actually did enjoy to come back to later when they can. I know that this is fairly a bad argument because not everybody is like that. Sure, not everybody is like that. But why do you care that poor people are consuming content that they couldn't afford to get anyway, especially considering that it's not actually stealing a physical copy. They're just like taking a fake copy digitally to consume it, and they wouldn't have bought it anyway because they can't afford it right now. Like, how does this hurt you? But I don't want to watch ads. You can't sit through 60 of ads? Really? Broadcast TV breaks are longer. Otherwise, you need to pay for the privilege of ad-free. Now, I never actually heard that argument ever used. Like, nobody was like, yeah, I'm stealing this content because I don't want to watch ads. Maybe I'm running in the wrong circles. I don't know. Because otherwise I would be like, ad blocker is a thing, yo! And I know that some people watch YouTube with ad blocker. I know that some people disable it for like specific creators that they really like. If they don't disable it for me, that's fine. I always treated it as a personal choice. If ads really get on your nerves, I honestly, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I feel like sometimes I should be running ad blocker because I go to all these gaming websites and they're just absolutely stock full of ads. I buy merch. Cool. Why access to the show too? It's less expensive. Chances are they're saying I buy merch is because they're from one of those countries that can't buy access to the show. Like, they can't legally access the show, but they do wanna show support for the people that made said show. So they do it in any way that they can. Once again, why are you angry? But PC culture, feminism, politics of dubs ruins the show. No, it doesn't. You're just an asshole. How many times have you heard someone yell YOLO or YEET or mention a meme in a localization? It's done to make it accessible, relevant, not be transliteral. Nobody asked you to do that though. Like, I'm pretty sure that people would pretty much really love to watch the original content. I hate things being made current. Even I hate when games make themselves with the idea to be current. Like The Sims 4 has a lot of current jokes. They don't age well. Sure, they might be like, meme, funny in this year, but then you come back to that game 10 years later and it's just... it didn't age well. And then you have the issue with gaming, which is another reason why people pirate, where a localization, just like with anime, just like they cut out specific scenes and they insert Western memes or whatever, in gaming you have censorship of things that your government doesn't allow you to see. So for example, this is Chinese version of World of Warcraft. In the Western version, there's skulls. In the Chinese version, you have to cover up death however you can. So they covered it up with grain sacks. Then they made the talking skull into a flying purse. They covered up all of the entrails, making the corpse look more normal. They covered up the death. They replaced gore with food. Lots and lots and lots of food. That is like the biggest change, because that's like a full model change with food attached to it. And you see, this is why sometimes people pirate the stuff, because they don't want the version that their government would like to see. They want the original version. The same way that with anime, they don't want Western Studio to cut out scenes that they might find uncomfortable and insert a whole bunch of things like LOL and yeet and lead speech in order to appeal to them kids. They want to see what the original artist wanted to show them. Which is why the 30 Japanese companies fed up with this shit, just releasing it all onto YouTube. And honestly, I really can't blame them. I really can't blame them. But this has been a take from the vaults of really, really outdated conversations that happened like 10 years ago in the PC sector. Yeah, that about sums it up. Thank you for listening to my conversation on piracy. I feel like the PC sector has gone over this 10 years ago, and we like stopped talking about it because we can't accept it as a thing that exists, and are just trying to reduce the amount of thing that exists by increasing accessibility. Hence why, you know, you're now capable of buying Deus Ex on Steam, the same way that you're actually capable of buying Princess Maker on Steam now, because more openness, access to more countries, regional pricing, it's a good thing. It reduces piracy. Yelling at people that they shouldn't have access to things just because they were born in the wrong country does not do that, and is a fairly bad take. Anime world, I guess we're seeing you in 10 years when you kind of catch up to the gaming side of things and how we do things. Because I have a feeling that you guys are just gonna go through the exact same thing. So yeah, this has been a video brought to you by Marta. What do you think? What do you think about piracy when it comes to anime, when it comes with games? Obviously, we all know that it's not a good thing. At least from my perspective, it's not a good thing. You wanna pay for the products that you consume, but I do excuse it in specific things. And when there's no localization or no way to access the product because it's got outdated, or the product is priced in a way that for your region you're never gonna afford it, I can sort of understand, really. I mean, I was a poor kid from a poor country that grew up with a piracy page, and I bought all of those games legally later when I could. So there's that, because I did remember them. I remembered what I consumed as a kid when I couldn't pay for them legally. It stays with you. So I don't think that companies should be mad at that. But anyways, if you like more gaming related-ish news every single day, feel free to subscribe because I make videos daily. Thank you for watching this long rant, and toodaloo!